The bigger question, Jadin Sancho, what is the future of his, not only his career, but his career at Manchester United? Could he have a good impression in Dortmund and therefore come back to Manchester United? Is it even a possibility that Erik ten Hag could welcome him back in good graces?
Do you even care if he goes back to Manchester United?
I do care if he goes back to Manchester United.
I care more about Erik. I care more about Jadon getting back to his old self and proving that he was the footballer that Manchester United bought in 2021. That it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't, it was lockdown, or it wasn't because he was in Dortmund and it wasn't maybe not as competitive as a lot of people feel obviously the Premier League would be. For me, it's more important that Jadon Sancho gets back to being the player that he was and proves he wasn't a flop. Then he can go not wherever he wants, but he can kind of make his own choice as to where he goes. So whether he gets transferred out of Manchester United or
right. So it's essentially an opportunity for Manchester United to raise his value to therefore move him.
Yeah,
like that. That's the benefit for them. Look, that could be a proper strategy. Maybe,
or he just got to get his groove back. He just got to find his old self.
I think he just needs to be there. Be at Dortmund, have a good time, and there's a strong possibility that Erik ten Hag is not even at the club when he comes back.
That's what I'm saying.
Just wait it out, dog.
But now he's got this thing. He stood his ground. He stood on business.
He did.
But now you got to prove it right.
It could look really bad if he doesn't play well. Bad.
He can't now start showing up late.
Yeah, or
whatever the issues were at Manchester United. Word is he was a lazy trainer.
Yeah,
and he would show up late.
Yeah. This video is interesting. This is Borussia Dortmund posted this, and I think it's interesting the choice of words.
Yes, we're back.
So one of the medical trainers when he's on the bike, it's coming up in just a second, but we're watching him. He's looking at the locker rooms. Where am I going to be sitting and blah blah blah. But the last sentence, which is coming up in just a second. Right,
latest medical check ever. Sorry guys, I'm sorry.
Right there, latest medical check ever. And then so initially I'm like, does he mean because it's late in the transfer window?
Well, they did. No, I think they went to the clock. And it was 23:41.
Oh, okay. So initially I took it as like, yo, is Jadon getting late to his medical?
I know.
Bro, what is going on?
Wait, hold on. Might have. They might have said like, yo, just get here anytime today. And he's like, I'll get there right before midnight. It could have been. So you might be right still.
I'm like, there's no way. You can't be late on the first day, dog.
Damn, yo.
So I'm like, but that's how anxious I am about this whole situation. I'm just like, yo, bro, just like, you can't be screwing up right now. And that particular post, I'm like, is when he says, I'm sorry, guys. It's obviously very cheeky and he's just kind of joking around. But I'm like, what happened? Why is he apologizing at all?
It could be. It could be that he just showed up later and they had to go back.
Okay. That's why these tattooed millionaires shouldn't be, but whatever.
Tell him, bro. Okay. Just dribble the ball.
Okay. Thank you for joining me on the Jason Whitlock Hour.
Fedora comes down and lands on your head.
All right. Everybody go, but we all hate Stephen A. Smith, right? We don't like him. Anyway,
I will say this. I think Erik ten Hag had to do what he did. If you're going to tell someone, it's similar to what we saw in Toronto. Yeah. Hey, man, don't vape. No, I'm going to keep vaping. You got to stand your ground.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Maybe come on the show and talk about it. I think if you're going to be Erik ten Hag and you're going to say everyone's held to the same standard, you can't be, I'm going to chastise you for the way you're training. I'm going to chastise you for being late or whatever the transgressions were. You got to stand you got to stand your ground on this. But then also, if you're him, he did the right thing.
It's difficult. Yeah, I agree. It's difficult as a club and as like executives when you're like, in 2021, you're like, yo, yeah, should we spend $100 million on bringing this young man to the club? And then it's like, then 2 years later, the coach is like, oh, yeah, I don't care about that $100 million you just spent on bringing that
guy you brought in, he's not nice to me.
Okay, he's not giving me the right vibes. Yeah. So
he's kind of making me look like a jerk in front of the other guys.
So what's more valuable, those $100 million or like ETH's feelings.
or your boy.
Okay, because my feelings are a little bit hurt. So
Yeah.
it's a thing where you have to side with the manager, right? They're leading the club and they are the captain of the ship. So there's a lot of trust in Erik ten Hag to feel like, yes, we know the investment we made in Jadin Sancho, but we trust that you have a better vision and direction.
Is there a lot of trust though? Like you say that, but like we hear rumors all the time about, is ETH gonna last the rest of the season? Is it gonna make it the next? It seems like the fans definitely don't trust.
Maybe
him.
trust is the wrong word, but he certainly has leverage in this because Jadin hasn't been lights out.
Yeah.
He hasn't played when given the opportunity like a 73 million pound player,
Right.
which is what he was purchased for. So I kind of think they're like, all right, Erik, I mean, this guy's not working out anyway. You could maybe try a different tact with him, be a little bit harder. I think back to Pep Guardiola told a story about how Cruyff obviously was at the club when he was playing there, and they would stick around after training and they'd, talk about football for hours and hours and hours. Eventually, Pep gets the job to coach Barca B, which is what he wanted. They wanted him to be in the youth system, and he said no, he wanted to coach Barca B, which at the time was in the 4th division, like stunk. But I think Pedro was there, Busquets was there, and he went to Cruyff, who again at the time a god running the club.
Yeah,
he went to Cruyff and said, I have an issue, and I need your help. I have 2 players; they're my star players, but they're not listening to me, and I don't know what to do. I don't think I've won them over. I need them because they're important. Right? They're important for our success. They're our 2 best players, but I can't get them to fall in line. I can't get them to listen to me, and it's affecting the way I am with the rest of the club. What would you do? And Cruyff was like, get rid of him. Get rid of them immediately. Because it doesn't matter if they're your best players. If they're not listening to you, the whole club will collapse because of it. Your whole squad will collapse because of it. And I'm paraphrasing what he said. I'm sure it was with an accent and everything. But to me, it brings a good point. Like, I get why Erik ten Hag did what he did. I get why he's chastised players in the past. I get why other coaches have sectioned off players if they felt they weren't doing their thing. But you could look at Jadin Sancho and go, this kid got skill. There's some real talent there, no?
Yeah, I mean, but look, just like you mentioned that Jadin Sancho has to go to Germany and ball out and really impress. The same pressure is on Erik ten Hag. His team has to get good results. And
it's not like, all right, Jadin's gone. Now we're really good. Now we ball.
Yeah, I mean, look, and if people don't remember the specifics about like what the falling out was between Erik ten Hag and Jadin Sancho, it was essentially Erik ten Hag criticized Jadin Sancho publicly and just said like it was either about like why he didn't play, about not he said injury, and then they were like, well, and then Jadin Sancho was like, I ain't injured, and then it was like, oh, he doesn't train well, and then he's like, I train fine, like whatever. It was essentially Jadin Sancho calling his manager a liar, and
he put up a post, did he not?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact one, but it was basically that, like, don't speak on my name, type of post, and that was it. And they had asked Sancho to apologize. He's like, I ain't apologizing. I didn't do anything wrong. And boom, and this is where we
now he's eating with the U18s and training by himself.
right. So that's how all of this started. So there's clearly a lot of pressure, and I do think there's a lot of trust on Erik ten Hag because I don't think the noise about him getting sacked has been that loud, especially from. You haven't heard any higher ups mention anything?
No. Scott McTominay came out a couple weeks ago and said we're all behind the coach.
Yeah.
The players love him. The fans seem
The fans
seem, obviously there's always going to be different groups of fans, right? But for overall, what I've seen, at least from the fans that I know and love and respect, it seems like there's some patience. It's starting to wear thin, but there's still patience around the manager. I think the understanding is that the club itself has failed. Speaking of Pep Guardiola, there was a time where he was talking to Sir Alex Ferguson, and they were having a conversation about the game, the Champions League final in Rome. And he said something like Manchester United is important in football because they are like the pinnacle, or they give football something like the dignity, not just in the way they play, but as an organization.
Yeah.
They are like the dignity that the sport deserves, that football deserves, is like a Manchester United. I'm like, not anymore, bro. You know what I mean? Like, think about that's not that long ago,
dude. Every empire crumbles. I mean, they don't last forever.
Sure, but still, I mean, to be like the most dignified, the dignity that this sport deserves of a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah.
It's such a fall from grace. And I've said this on the morning show. I'll say it again. It feels like football needs Manchester United to be good in order for it to feel right. You know what I mean? Like it's
like the Yankees being bad. It like hurts almost the rest of Major League Baseball.
It's such an important club in the to see it be like this is just a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.